Hello and welcome. I'm Kate Harrison-Whiteside from the Plain Language Academy, and welcome to today's PlainView, Plain Language interview. Today I'm talking with Flora Gordon, certified graphic designer and instructor for our course for Plain Language Design. Flora's going to talk about how to get started in Plain Language Design, how to deal with some of the common comments you might get, and share some tips on things that she uses most frequently in her practice. So, over to Flora.
I think it's important to start off by getting the whole team together, develop some criteria for what a successful project's going to look like before you start looking at anything, because otherwise it's going to be subjective. It's going to be a bunch of opinions, but if you've laid the groundwork and decided what's important for this project, what's important for our target audience, you'll have a foundation that you can all reflect on later on in the project when you're making decisions. Another great way to start off is to look at similar projects done. Maybe it's the same project done in another city. Research this, see what they learned, see what worked for them. As long as you're respecting copyright, I think this is a really important step to inform your design decisions. I get asked most frequently about plain graphic design is definitely about the name. Plain and graphic design don't seem to go together. Plain sounds like something that hasn't been sent to a graphic designer. I'm often called in to provide embellishments to make things more interesting to read, to incorporate images and create visual interest, and plain just doesn't sound right next to that. I'm getting these questions mostly from people who aren't familiar with plain language writing and editing. So definitely getting over the name, explaining that to people is the thing that comes up the most. So the aspects of plain design that I use the most are definitely influences from plain language writing and editing, prioritizing the needs of the target audience, as well as making information that's clear, grouped logically, doesn't have a bunch of jargon in it. I'm doing things to echo that in my graphic design. As well, I'm really focusing on readability. You could have the best, most clear text in the world, but if it's not laid out properly, if the font is too small to read, too difficult to read for the target audience in the environment it's going to be read in, no one's going to be able to get the information they need. So readability is definitely huge as well, and putting the needs of the target audience above everything else, above its aesthetics, above the font that I'd like to use, above the color that I think's in style right now. The most important thing is helping people be able to read and access information.